Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about the last episode of the 7th series of Doctor Who, The Name of the Doctor, and as usual with these episodes it will probably contain spoilers, so I do advise that you watch the episode before watching this review. When I sat down to watch this, I was fully prepared to complain. I thought that there was going to be a load of things in this that I didn't like. I have never been more wrong about anything in all my life. This is without a doubt my favourite episode from the 7th series, and one of my favourites from the last 8 years. I will say now that it is perfect for me, and I rarely make that claim about a Doctor Who episode. There's one particular line in this which the Doctor says, which I just think sums up the entire episode perfectly, and that is, from Gallifrey to Trenzalore, and that is what we're getting. We're getting the Doctor's history, but with no detail. We're just getting this snapshot of who the Doctor is. And to be fair, we're still none the wiser. We do now know, of course, a lot more about Clara. We know how she is the impossible girl now, and that, I think, to start with, that is absolutely brilliant. Not what I was expecting. There were a lot of things going around saying, oh, she's connected with Rose and Bad Wolf in the heart of the TARDIS. Not really. But I do think the way that it came about is brilliant and very surprising. So the fact that we now know who she is, or at least we know a lot more about her, I think is a bit of a relief. And we haven't, it's nothing too bizarre. It's nothing like, well, how did they manage to do that? It actually makes perfect sense now that you look at it, and it's like none of us worked it out as far as I'm aware. But now that we know it, I'm just like, oh yeah, I can kind of see how that works now. The opening to this episode, before we had the title sequence, I thought was one of the most powerful things ever. It kind of echoed itself later on in the episode, and that to me is one of the most powerful pieces in Doctor Who from the new series. It's gorgeous. The entire episode is so emotive and so heartaching. Near the beginning, the Doctor starts breaking down, and I'm like, what's going on? This must be really serious if the Doctor is crying. And of course it is serious. So it is probably one of the most emotional episodes, despite the fact that that's not what I was expecting. The concept of time travelling in dreams is fantastic. It's kind of like the more spiritual version of astral travel, which is a whole different thing. But that I thought was brilliant. Of course, 7 minutes in we get River back, and I didn't know River was coming back into it until yesterday. Today's day is Monday. And I saw her, and I did squeal a little bit. I do love River a lot. One of my favourite Doctor Who characters ever. One of my favourite actresses, Alex Kingston, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So to have River back is brilliant. And of course, when we get the kiss, I cried a little bit. I love River so much. To be honest, I never thought I'd admit this, but to me, 11 and River is so much more powerful than 10 and Rose. And considering I'm a die-hard Rose fan, that's quite a big claim. But River in this is fantastic, and I love her to bits, and the fact that she was in it just makes me so happy beyond belief. Madame Vastra, Jenny and Strax in this were all fantastic. If you watch my Doctor Who reviews regularly, you'll know that I'm not usually a fan of characters that are brought back continuously. But there's something about this trio which I just love more than life itself. When Strax was in Glasgow, I thought that was just the most hilarious thing ever. I have a peculiar sense of humour, we will admit this. But Jenny, Strax and Madame Vastra, I love so much, and the more they're in it, the more I love them. And if they had their own TV series, honestly, it would be the most amazing thing ever. The Whisper Men were completely creepy and eerie beyond belief, and I love them. I love the way they look. They weren't as involved as what I thought they were going to be when I saw the trailer, which I believe River's in the trailer, but for some reason I just blanked that bit. But when I saw them in the trailer, I was like, actually, they look like they could become quite an iconic Doctor Who creature. If they've been in it before, forgive me, I haven't seen many of the classic episodes, which I will talk about in a moment. The recurrence of the intelligence I thought was good. The way that played out worked well. And then going into the open wound, it wasn't as explosive as what I thought was going to happen. I think it kind of whittled out ever so slightly, but it was still very interesting to watch, and certainly unfolded in a way that I hadn't expected, which always makes for good viewing, and I can't complain. Yeah, so the classic references, I think a lot of people are complaining. One of the Doctor Who pages I've liked on Facebook have put up a picture of like all these fangirls mainly complaining about all these classic references, which made me worried because I saw that before I watched the episode, and I thought if it's really classic heavy, I'm not going to get the references. For goodness sake, I don't understand the complaining. I've seen some of Hartnell's, I've seen some of Tom Baker's, little bits of other episodes. But it's not as if it's classic references that you need to understand to be able to enjoy the episode. I thought it was fantastic. I noticed we didn't get, as far as I could see, I don't think we got any David Tennant in there. There was Eccleston and things, but I can't remember actually seeing David Tennant in this episode. But it did go as far as 9. And then of course we have the Doctor at the end. Now I have seen John Hurt pictures of him in Nine's coat, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. It's going to be very interesting. I am very much looking forward to the 50th episode. I wasn't, because it was just rumours after rumours, and if I remember rightly, Moffat did issue an official statement saying it's about looking forward, not looking back, which some people, I think, is where the issue stems from with the classic Doctors being mentioned in this episode. People are complaining about that, saying, well, Moffat said we're looking forward, but it's part of the show's history. You can't ignore it, and I don't know why anybody would want to. But the 50th episode, I am nervous for it, just because I have no idea what's going on. I don't think anybody does, really. So I'm looking forward to it. November is a long way away, but hopefully it'll pass quite quickly. I did hear 2014, it's not going to happen until September. If you know what I mean, that didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. So I am sad it's over. The Name of the Doctor has made me happy beyond belief. You know that hysterical cackling you do after a good TV show's finished? I did that for about 10 minutes. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on The Name of the Doctor. Honestly, this couldn't have gone more perfectly. I love River, I love Clara, I love Madame Vastra and Strax and Jenny. I love the Doctor. I will now go as far to claim I prefer Matt Smith's Doctor to David Tennant's. I prefer David Tennant as an actor, but in terms of watching the Doctor, I prefer 11. And I'm never going to admit that I've admitted that, but I've admitted that. Let me know your thoughts on The Name of the Doctor, the series as a whole, and your thoughts for the 50th anniversary, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!